Hey, what's up everyone? It's Elemental Storm, aka coming at you with a video blog. I am getting a little buzzed here because I'm drinking some whiskey and coke, but I wanted to touch base on a subject on this video that basically what I want to talk about is indie games versus AAA titles. Now, there's a reason behind that, but before we get into all that, let's get a couple things out on the table here. First off, this is my own personal opinion. So please take that, with you in terms of when you watch this video. This video will also probably run up to about 15 minutes or so. So if you have the time, or when you have the time, it will be the best time to watch the video. And after, please give your own opinion too, and let me know how you feel about this whole thing, because it's a subject that has been kind of pulling in my mind for the past few days, and something I'd definitely like to get out there in the community of my viewers and stuff like that, and anybody who's maybe new or whatnot coming to see this video and stuff like that. I'd love to hear your opinions. And the third thing is that please remember that here we are all gamers. It doesn't matter what console you play on. It doesn't matter if you're PC. It doesn't matter if you're Nintendo. It doesn't matter if you're PlayStation. It doesn't matter if you're Xbox. It doesn't matter if you're Ouya. It doesn't matter what you play. You are a gamer. And of course, the word gamer has so many other ties. But no matter the fact, you're here, you're watching a gamer's video, you're a gamer to everyone here. So please, if you have an opinion, throw it in there. And anybody else who would like to comment on their said opinion, please be polite, give your thoughts, but don't tell them they're wrong or whatever the case may be. Unless it's like a fact that maybe, about a company or something that obviously may be wrong. In that case, that's fine. Just please, with your own common sense. We are gamers. We're supposed to be strong as a community. Let's not bash each other and things of that nature. That's all I ask of you guys. And that's why I make these videos, because I do it for you, and I'd love to see, everyone come together as a community and just, hey, we're gamers, and we're here, and we're geeks, and we're dorks, and we're proud, and we love it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that will be a whole other discussion some other time. So let's get right into it. Indie games versus AAA titles. So I've been thinking about this, because this whole thing came up. I started watching some videos. Well, I shouldn't say I started watching. I always watch some videos on PlayStation and stuff like that. And I always like checking out what the new stuff that's coming out and stuff like that. And I've noticed that, within this week, there's been a few videos that are coming out, new PlayStation titles, that are indie-based. And I've noticed in the comment section, and with the comment section, of course, you always have to weed out the good from the bad, because you have your bashers and everything like that, and you're ones that want to start console wars, but you have some people that put in some really good opinions. But one thing I did notice in a lot of these videos was the fact that, and not everybody, mind you, but this is the one thing that kind of drew me out, and I've seen this in other videos too when it comes to indie titles. And I've seen this I've even heard this discussion with indie games. There are people that, see, I'm just fixing my foot down here. There are people that, for some reason, and like I said, this is my own personal opinion, but there are some people that just disregard indie games. They feel maybe they're just a waste of time. They feel that the AAA games are just so much better. They feel that, I don't want to look at an 8-bit, 16-bit game. I want to look at a 1080p game, or whatever the case may be. That's what they feel, and that's fine. If that's their opinion, that's fine. But I'm putting out my opinion on that, because if you are that type of person, I want you to look at after listening to this video. I want you to take this into you and think about this, because here's the deal. Indie games bring one major they bring basically three major things to the genre of being an indie game. First off, the price. An indie game can range anywhere between $10 to $20, give or take. Now you look at a AAA title that usually costs you about $60, new in the box, coming off the shelf, or ordering online, usually runs you about $60. And of course, mind you, I know if you're on PC and you're doing Steam, it's a whole different story and stuff like that. But we're not going to get there. We're just talking about a new AAA title, like say Assassin's Creed 4 comes out, and I think even on Steam it runs the same price. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you take a game like Assassin's Creed, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty, Titanfall that's coming out. All those games, the AAA titles, they run for about $60. An indie game runs you, again, between $10 to $20. You can purchase 3 to 4 of these games for the price of one AAA title. And now here's the other reason why you would do this. If it's a game that calls to you, or I should say, you look at it and you go, oh, it's 8-bit. It looks like an 8-bit game to me, or something like that. Because there are, you look at Minecraft. Minecraft, for a major example here, has always been a game that has never really been about the graphics. It's been about a whole different thing. And that's where I'm going to get into. Now, the second point of this is it comes down to, with indie titles, developers love to do something with indie titles that you don't really see a lot in AAA games, unless they were originally first coming out like IPs and stuff like that. Actually, not. I don't know. Even now, I'd say that indie games, I think, do this more than anything else. They have their own styles in terms of art, in terms of gameplay, in terms of music. You take a game like Hotline Miami, and it's such an awesome game, gory as can be, but the idea and it looks like an old Nintendo game. It really does. It looks like a top-down Nintendo game that you run it, but taking today's style, of putting an awesome soundtrack on it, setting up the gameplay where it's a puzzle game, yet it's an action game. It's its own mix, which is, you pick up either a baseball bat or whatever the case, or a gun. You go into the first room, you take out some guys, and then you try to basically complete the entire level without getting killed. You get killed once, and that's it. You got to start all over again. And it's just got this art style. Now you look at another game like Limbo, completely black and white game. It's a side-scroller type deal. It's gorgeous. Indie titles are gorgeous. They look fantastic because they have their own art style, because they have their own. And the gameplay actually will go into the third point of this, but their music is something that you can put your headphones on. Definitely something like Hotline Miami, Resogun, even Outlast. They immerse you into the game with an unbelievable soundtrack. Mind you, I know that obviously AAA games, they put a lot of money into their soundtracks and stuff like that. They're good, but there's something about indie games that are just different in that general. You almost get an idea of what you're expecting when it comes to a AAA title, especially a franchise AAA title. You know what you're getting into, and we're going to get into that actually into the next point. But with the indie game now, with an indie game now, you get into that factor of it's got some amazing music, or it's got some amazing sounds, and it's got an art style of all its own. You don't normally see that, and even if you did, it looks like Minecraft looks like something from a 16-bit day, or Hotline Miami looks like an 8-bit game, or something of that nature. You may have seen that, but when you saw that, that was back in the 80s and the 90s. You don't see that now in 2014. And that's awesome to see that retro style brought back and put into a game with the technology that we have now in terms of the AI and the building of a game that we can do now. I love taking that idea of taking, like a really, really good point, playing a game on Vita called Guacamelee. It's about this luchador. It's kind of they call it a Castlevania Metroid style game, where basically it's a 2D game, side scroller, but it's got that they call it a Metro game because Metroid, actually I should say not Metro, but Metroid game, because as you progress you get abilities that allow you to open up new areas in a level. So it's kind of like you get this kind of not open world per se, but you get like these areas in the world you can keep going back to. And once you get a certain ability, you can open up another area within there and stuff. The art style in that game, as I'm playing that game, and when I first saw that, and I used to be this guy that used to be like, oh, indie games, why would I, why am I going to go spend $15 on this game? I don't want to go play this game. I used to be that guy, but I've now, I think as I'm getting older, I've definitely have changed my thoughts on indie games, and that's one of the main reasons I want to bring this video up, because as me, I was that guy who, and not commenting on YouTube, but I was that guy who would look at a game and go, Why would I do that? When I first saw Minecraft, I totally blew that off. I was like, why would I play that game? But, and this is where it comes in that third factor. But, and as I'm growing old, as I'm getting older as a gamer, I am definitely looking at the values of a game more than I'm looking at that AAA style of, are the graphics 1080p? Are they the, blow me away graphics or anything like that? And stuff like that, I don't look at that anymore. I look at now and again, this will get into the third factor, but I look at now the game itself, and I look at that, I look at what really pulls me into that game. If I look at if a trailer and I hear, a really kicking sound coming from it, like Resogun. When I first heard that sound for that trailer, I was like, that game looks cool. That sounds, oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. When I saw that game and I saw the art style they used, blew me away. When I sat down and I played Minecraft with that idea, now knowing what that game is, it's fantastic. It's an unbelievable fun game. And now this is where we get into my third point. An indie game brings a cool factor. What I'm going to call a cool factor to the game, back to us, the gamers. Guacamelee, like I said. I'm playing that game. Man, it is cool. Outlast. I love horror games. I played definitely my assortment of horror games, from Resident Evil to Clive Barker's Undying to many horror games. Obviously not as many as probably on the PC with Slender Man, things like that. I got to get into one of those. I got to try that out. But I love that that's that cool factor in Outlast. You're a reporter with just a camera, just some night vision. You put them headphones on, you turn your lights off. That's you get into that cool factor. You get that immersion where you're like, you start sweating. I was at the point where I jumped a couple times that my heart was like beating like crazy. It was like, okay, I can only do this game in segments because I love my horror games, but I couldn't sit there and do that entire thing in one night. That thing scared the heck out of me, and that's cool. I like being scared. I go to haunted houses and things because, man, I like that immersion. I like that cool factor. Take a game like Resogun. You get, you're piling that ship and you're firing away and you're listening to that sound blasting through your headphones, whatever, man, and it is just cool. And that's what I think that as an older gamer I'm getting, And I always say, oh, I'm not going to go spend $15. I'm not going to spend $20 in these games. But then I think to myself, why am I spending $60 on a game? I'm going to trade in about a month because I played the entire thing out when I could buy 4 games and I'll have 4 games to play within whatever time. And I'll have them in my library because another thing about indie games is they're usually small. And they fit in your library and they'll stay in your library. Or a lot of times now, especially with indie games, they're digital downloads. So you can download it, play the game, delete it if you don't have the memory anymore, go back and re-download it because you own the game, or you're on PlayStation Plus and as you say, you're renting the game, whatever the case may be. But you get to go back and you get to play that game. And unlike a AAA title, you play that game and, unless it's a really good one that like grasps you and grabs you like Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto 5, you're going to play it, and you've played something like this before, and, you're doing it either just because you love the franchise, you love the storyline, you love the lore. Like, for me, that's why a lot of games I'll play, like Assassin's Creed. I like the storylines. I like the idea behind it. I want to see how it's progressing. But at the same time, I think to myself, why am I spending $60 in this game when I just want to see the storyline, finish it, and then I'm getting rid of it? Or, and later on I'm going to get rid of it, Because that's the other big thing about AAA titles is they really are. They don't have that cool factor anymore. When Assassin's Creed was first out, when Call of Duty was first out, when Battlefield was first out, or when they finally made that transition, like especially in Assassin's Creed, when they went from 1 to 2, that was that cool factor. You played a game you've never played before, or if anything, you played like little styles of something that turned into this game. You played that game and you're like, that's cool. I like this game a lot. I'll take for instance, like I played, God of War. I played games like that. But when I played Castlevania, for some reason it just had this, like, maybe it was the setting or it was the music, everything pumped into it at the same time. And I played games like this before, but even then, going back, I haven't played a game like, and I think that maybe was it. When I played God of War, it was originally on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and I haven't played a game like that since. And I went and I played Castlevania because I've always been a Castlevania fan, so I played Lords of Shadow, and that had that cool factor of, man, I haven't played a game like this. This is like God of War. I haven't played a game like this in ages. This is it. This is that cool factor. And you don't get that with these franchises that are coming out year after year, or maybe even just only 2 years down the line. You know, these major franchises that just want to make some cash and just throw a few new features in, because where's the cool factor? It's, yeah, you threw some new features in, but you know what? All this other stuff I've seen before. I've done before. And that's great. If you like that stuff, that's awesome. But to me, I've definitely come to the point where, as being an older game, and this is why I picked up Gamefly too, is also the fact that these games I still want to play. I still want to finish the storylines. I want to see the lore. I want to see how things are progressing. But I'm going to rent them only. And I'm not going to go buy them, you know. And unfortunately, I'm not going to give the $60 to that developer, because you know what? They're bringing out a game every year. They're getting enough money as it is. But to the indie game that only comes out after a certain amount of time, you know, that's been worked on, that's everything like that, and it's got that cool factor, take my money. A game like Skyrim that goes from Oblivion to, and I can't remember how many years it is, but years down the road, we're getting in 60 minutes, so we're going to finish this up very, very quickly here. But a game like Skyrim that took so long, you know, took a while, everyone's so highly waited for and everything like that, you know, when I first played Skyrim, man, that was that cool factor. When I first got in that little caravan thing and stuff, where they talked about, you know, we're going to have our heads chopped off and everything right at the beginning and stuff like that. Just being able to look around and the music and the immersion, that was that cool factor. I haven't done this since when I first put in, like, say, Morrowind or Oblivion. And because of that, that's because it's years down the line. You look at a game between, like, you know, Red Dead and GTA 5. GTA 4, okay, you know, to me it just wasn't, I don't know, it didn't call me, but I took a game, especially like Red Dead, that blew me out of the water. You look at a game like GTA 5. Yeah, it has some elements of Red Dead, but it's its own game, and it's got that cool factor. The colors burst out at you, the music just is there, the characters, the funny stories, everything like that. It reminds me of when I used to play Vice City. And that was my cool factor. The Grand Theft Auto, like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City were my two big ones that were like, this is cool. I love playing this game. And I think that's the main thing. And I think that's the main point I'm trying to make, is that, and unfortunately it took 17 minutes or almost 18 minutes to do it, but and forgive me for that, but it's that cool factor. And you just don't see that anymore in a game. Now, and then I'm hoping we get that back. Watch Dogs, I'm hoping, is going to have that, you know, an espionage open world game. We haven't had anything like that in I don't even know, a very long time, if anything. You know, Destiny, you know, yeah, it looks kind of like Borderlands, whatever, but it's an RPG, sci-fi, you know, first-person shooter. You know, you look at a game like Defiance, which was like the RPG shooter, you know, WildStar, that's an RPG sci-fi thing and stuff like that. But Destiny definitely has its own style that I'm really looking at going, I think this is going to bring that cool factor. When I first play this game, I bet that's going to bring me that cool factor. And these indie titles, man, you know, I'll boot it up or I'll buy it and I'll play it, you know, like Guacamelee, and I just get that cool factor. And that's it. That's, you know, and I'm saying this word over and over and over again, but this is the point I'm trying to drive the nail in, is that these games, they bring upon just, that's it, that cool factor. When you can pick up a game and you can look at it and you can go, this is cool. That's it right there. That's all it needs to be said. So with that, thank you for staying as long as you did. I'm sorry this went over 15 minutes and stuff like that. I'll try to make these a little more shorter if I can, but I just thought this was something I wanted to get off get out there to the community and get your opinions on and stuff like that. And hopefully I didn't ramble on like crazy because like I have been drinking a little bit and stuff. But hopefully I made my point without making it like a rambling situation and stuff like that. But if you feel like I do, or you even don't feel like I do, please feel free to put in the comments. Like the video if you want, share it with your friends, whatever the case may be. You do what you want to do, but it's nice to see feedback come my way, because at least I know that I'm touching you guys. I'm touching you guys. No, I'm I'm talking to you guys out there, and you're responding and you're seeing. So with that, all right, we hit 20 minutes. Let's kill this. Take care, everyone. Keep gaming, and this is Elemental Storm. I'm out of here.